I'm very proud to say that in spite of every hardship I'm afflicted with, I've not acted upon my suicidal ideations today. And despite approaching age 30 and suffering with all of these horrific conditions, including this disease, which I'm going to speak briefly on, I refuse to end my own life, even though people have literally encouraged me and told me that I have no hope. So I am speaking as a medically neglected patient, not as a professional, so bear that in mind. Whilst I've done some general research using the resources I have access to, I cannot and will not speak on this condition as though I have medical knowledge. All I can speak on is personal experience as, again, like I keep saying, a medically neglected patient. Currently, I'm not under any NHS consultant. I obviously cannot afford to go private. I do not have any products that I have purchased that are helping whatsoever. And quite frankly, I don't think anybody cares other than myself that I am suffering. But I would like people to care because I'm a human being, and I think there should be at least a handful of people out there who actually empathise and care and would be willing to help. So there's so many articles out there on this condition, but I'm just going to focus on this very short 3-page one, which is titled Depression, Anxiety and Suicidal Ideation in Prurigo Nodularis, a Systematic Review and Meta-Analysis. The key point I want to talk on is where it says that, I'm sure I highlighted it, PN is significantly associated with psychiatric comorbidities such as depression, anxiety and self-harm or suicidal ideation, according to previous reports, blah, blah, blah. However, it's not specified whether these are psychiatric comorbidities or whether they are related to PN as an underlying factor. Now, simply as a patient, not as a professional, I'm going to tell you I have self-harmed. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I haven't had any relief from the self-harm, and I certainly have not had any support after self-harm attempts. Everybody's condition obviously differs on their individual bodies, their skin tones. I just want to tell you as an individual how severely I'm struggling. So I am an almost 30-year-old woman, but I don't have any breast development. I am of a full Indian background. I do suffer with hirsutism, which essentially is excessive hair growth. I have already had really bad skin since around the age of 11, when I also started my menstruation, and I had diagnosed acne and hyperpigmentation, which tends to be quite common in South Asian people. But only a few years ago was I actually diagnosed with Prurigo Nodularis. And admittedly, I still don't think I've got the right diagnosis, because it looks and feels a lot more parasitic in nature than simply papules or lesions that are of, a dry skin condition. And I say this because of the level and the intensity and the severity of the itching and how the lesions look and how they feel. And yes, I do scratch and pick, because honestly it feels impossible, even if I put plasters on it, even if I sit on my hands, even if I wear cotton gloves or any other efforts. I've even tried to practice EMDR on myself, involving pretending that the itch has been scratched without actually touching your skin. I have tried a number of things, including what's it called? I've completely gone blank. It is now 23:06 in the evening, but yeah, if I remember, I will make another video on it. But I just want people to be aware, okay, in terms of the violation at university, I did not stand for that bitch of a woman to have my body exposed to show or to negatively portray Indian women as ugly, manly, flat-chested, hairy, skin-diseased monsters. I only agreed for her to use a section of the skin to raise awareness on how this condition looks on a woman of colour, and how it is not about a lack of hygiene. It is not about being careless. It is not about, not looking after yourself. Anybody who knows me, anybody who has witnessed my efforts knows that I have always consumed healthy foods. I have always looked after myself thoroughly. I thoroughly shower each and every day, even though I struggle with the pain and the itch and all of the symptoms. Even though I'm severely depressed and I'm not even on any medication for my depression, I have always thoroughly showered. It doesn't show. My body does not look like someone who is impeccably hygienic and who has had salon treatments done and who has had a number of other, not procedures, but, who has invested in quite a lot of treatments over the years, including things like cupping, crystal clear microdermabrasion, 24K facials, which I've also had used on my back as well. I've had herbal treatments done. I've tried Ayurveda. I have tried, I'm not saying I've tried everything, but I've tried a number of things. I've tried various forms of skincare from the lower end to higher end. I have tried completely simplifying my skincare to becoming more advanced. Admittedly, finances and other limitations have stopped me from accessing a lot of treatments, but the point I'm trying to make is I did not bring this skin condition upon myself. There may be reports out there that say that this is a mental health condition that manifests as a skin disease, or that I'm causing the skin disease by scratching and picking. I am telling you, not as a scientist, not as a dermatologist, not as a professional, but as a human being who is living with this so-called condition, I did not bring this condition upon myself. Even when I do not pick nor scratch, the lesions appear, the parasitic itch appears, the bleeding, the dots, the lesions, the lines, the